And that was Funke Akindele of TVC News, of course, our correspondent live at the Alibaba January 1st concert. And Happy New Year, everyone. You're still watching the Saturday Breakfast Show, excuse me, and welcome to the entertainment segment. I am Theophilus Elaman as usual. My co-host is here with me at Funke Akindele. Happy New Year. Happy
New Year, Theophilus. Happy New Year. How was the celebration?
Well, celebration was good. Well, we celebrated while working. Like you at the Alibaba January 1st concert. So
well, yes.
While working, we're celebrating and all of that. So we have to just find ways to enjoy ourselves.
Well, you look like work has nothing on you because you're still glowing. So.
But you know what they say about wearing a cloth to cover the body? So during the week, great news was reported as regards the new movie produced by Funke Akindele, The Tribe Called Judah. Hit cinema screens in December 2023 and barely a month later, the movie has now earned a whopping sum of 1 billion naira at the Nigerian box office, making it the fastest Nollywood movie to achieve this feat. And it has also become the highest grossing Nollywood movie of all time, with earnings still counting, and has made Funke Akindele the highest grossing Nollywood director of all time.
You come from home and you go collect. You want to attack me?
No, sir.
Are you a he-good? Tough boy like you, don't know that you use Lolon.
Is this mop you're carrying on your head that is blocking your ear? You're calling into my head.
Take it easy now. It's for you. We need to go and look for this money anyhow. We should go and rob C&K furniture store. That's the only way we can get quick money to save our mother's life.
That day is the perfect day for us to strike. We will go like guests for the party, wearing our different costumes, enter the store, carry the dollars and save our mother.
Chicken, I ain't gonna go on.
Funke Akindele's new movie, Tribe Called Judah. She's now called the queen of the box office.
Well,
1 billion.
1 billion naira. Not 100 million. Not 200 million.
But a billion.
But a billion naira.
I think in the first week it grossed quite about 300 million.
Yes,
in the first week or two.
Then I think last week it was about 800 and something million. Then all of a sudden 1 billion naira.
1 billion.
Yes.
Wow. And now on to our guest of the day. We have a titan in the Nigerian movie industry in our midst today, Lilian Amah. Today we have an actor, producer and writer of high repute in the Nigerian film industry. Thank you very much for coming, Lilian.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to have a screen diva like you come into the studio, grace our screens. And of course, we've watched you a lot of times back in, I don't know how well if you've maybe the Gen Z of this time, but we have watched people like Lilian in the industry for so long. How do you, let me ask you a question regarding Funke Akindele. You've been in the industry quite long. I'm sure we have not had this kind of news in a very long time. What does this make you feel?
It is heartwarming. Funke is a young lady that seems to have the Midas touch. Yeah. Everything she touches turns to gold. You know, she released the Battle on Booker Street.
Yes.
And that did over 600 million.
Yes.
You know, so there's something she's doing. We'll have to get closer to her to find out what it is. But, I mean, congratulations to Funke.
Yeah.
That was magical, you know, and it gives us hope for this industry.
Explain 2023 for the film industry. How was it for Nollywood?
Okay. 2022 into 2023, there was a huge dip. You know, everybody started getting worried. Films were not doing well. Not because the films were not good, but because people just didn't go to the cinemas. And then things started picking up. You know, started looking up. Prime, Netflix, they're commissioning so many originals now, and they're also purchasing more content. You know, so it was going up. And then the box office, December was wow for the box office.
Wow.
A lot of beautiful films came out, and Funke just maxed it all out. So,
in beautiful way.
From my point of view, the industry is picking up again. You know, it has its highs and lows, but it's going up. And I hope this will be a sustained rise this time.
Well, so many people say in 2023 there was a lot of indigenous movies, and a lot of people are quick to attribute it to the fact that Hollywood went on strike for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And so it gave room for indigenous content creators, indigenous producers to produce indigenous content and put in the cinemas that made waves. Jagun Jagun and the likes did very well in the cinemas too.
In the cinemas and also on the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
There were quite a number of them. And you're right, the strike in Hollywood gave us a chance to shine, right? Because they didn't have stuff coming out from there. So ours had a chance. And I think now that the world has had a taste of what we have to serve, whether Hollywood picks up again, we're not going to go back into our shell.
But I'm going to take you back to 1996 when you started your film career. What can you say is the difference, apart from the technological advancements? What can you say is the difference acting, being an actress then and being an actress today?
The major difference for me is social media. In those days, we had only the traditional televisions and newspapers, right? So you appear in a film, you win an award, people hear about it, but not like now. There's an immediacy to what's happening now. Everything is going on social media and it's going global. You get? So that for me is the main difference, is the speed and the reach that social media has given to the industry.
Well, like everything else, nothing is perfect, and the movie industry in Nigeria is definitely not perfect. If you had the power to just say abracadabra and do something like, what issue would you solve today in the Nigerian movie industry?
Maybe capacity development and the distribution platform. You're only as good as your reach. We don't have, for a country with 200 million people, we have barely 200 screens.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
And what Funke Akindele has done is magical because of the limited amount of screens. Bollywood has, I don't know how many thousand screens. So assuming we had 1,000 screens in Nigeria, this 1 billion she's done, multiply it by maybe 5, right? Because then even if only one person watches your film in all those cinemas, you're getting 1,000 in a day. And then you multiply it. If the thing is in the cinemas for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So for me, the basic thing is we need more cinemas. We need more screens. That's one. The streamers are doing their best, but it's still very limited. Apart from Netflix and Prime, there are quite a number of streamers actually, but the kind of figures we're talking about. You do a movie, a brand new movie, a streaming platform is offering you ₦1 million. Hello. Where do you go from there? How many of those platforms will you need to put that movie on before you can even get back what you put into it? You haven't even started talking of profit. So how do you get investors into an industry where there is no market or limited market? So we need more platforms with the money. We don't need, not that we don't need, we have investors, we have people who have seen the prospects. Even the financial sector, they've also seen the prospects. So they are willing to invest, but they need to be sure they can get their money back. If I'm putting my money somewhere and I can't get it back, or I can't guarantee that I'll get it back, then I will hesitate.
But is there an assurance there that they can get their money back?
When you say, is there an assurance, there are no guarantees.
Okay.
There are no guarantees. But as long as a movie has shown that you can get $1 billion, that means there is hope. It's left for every other producer to ask themselves, what did Funke do? How did she do it? If one person can do it, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people can't do it.
We should have a masterclass.
I think so. I think so. She needs to tell people what she's doing. Because when her movie came out, there were about 3 or 4 other big movies that came out. They are doing well, but nobody has matched this.
Oh, those movies are from Mercy Aigbe and Toyin Abraham.
And Toyin Abraham, yes.
Well, I think it's just because people already know her for creating really good movies. For example, She Must Be Obeyed trended a lot during the year 2023, and I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. So I think people already know her and the likes of Toyin and Aimaku as great storytellers.
True. She's a great storyteller. She's consistent.
Yes.
And
Diary.
she's very hardworking. She markets the hell out of her work. You understand?
So social media and dances.
Everywhere. And she has a huge following. So all of that, I believe, helps to translate into the numbers we're saying. Okay, but we'll all learn from her.
Yes, we will.
We've seen that women in Nollywood are really something. We've seen Funke Akindele, Toyin Abraham, Mercy Aigbe. We've seen directors like Tope Oshin and the likes.
Yeah.
Biadu Stevens.
Biadu Stevens, yes. Doing a whole lot in the industry. What does this say about in getting women involved in the sector more?
One thing I would tell you is that in every sector, women bring something to the table. Women are detail-oriented. Women are thorough. I'm not saying the men are not. They are, but, you know, a woman knows how to bring stuff together. And when you have a woman who's determined to make headway, she's going to make it. So, yes, the sector needs more women. More women behind the cameras. We have a lot in front of the cameras, a lot of young, beautiful, talented women, but we need more women behind the cameras.
Nollywood of then and Nollywood now, how would you describe it in terms of the talent on camera?
Nollywood then had a lot of talented people. Nollywood now has a lot of talented people. The difference, I would say, is the difference between the people then and the people now. Back then, I don't want anybody to get me wrong, okay? But the Gen Zs, sorry, pardon me, do not have as much staying power as the older folks. And you don't blame them. It's the world they came into. It's what they met. There's so much, they have so many challenges they are dealing with. And social media hasn't made it easy on them. But in the old days, people were a bit more thorough, people were a bit more professional, and people were ready to put in the work. Today, somebody does a movie and assumes he or she is a star overnight. I'm sorry I'm shaking tables, but it's the truth. Okay. The young ones need to understand that no matter how high you go, you can also fall. So you need to be patient, you need to respect people, you need to be humble. Because there's a whole lot of talent out there. If it's not you, it could be somebody else. You know, so for me, that's the difference. Back then, you had extremely talented people, but we had very few divas. Now everybody is a diva. Everybody is a diva. You've done one movie, you got a little acclaim, and the world starts and ends with me.
Well, how do you think that young actors and actresses can develop the staying power you spoke about?
Again, it will come back to my generation, because it's what we give them. We are the mothers. We are the parents of these young people. We have to begin to change our priorities. We have to begin to teach our children the right way to behave. I see my mates, I see some of us behaving very badly. I'm talking about adults like me, behaving very badly. What do you expect the young people to do? That's what they are seeing. That's what they are going to copy. So I'm speaking to people of my generation. We need to behave better. We need to stop behaving badly. We need to understand that the moment you have some acclaim, you become a role model. People look up to you. Young people look up to you, and everything you do impacts on them. If you behave badly, they're going to feel it's okay to behave badly. But if we begin to mend our ways, then we'll teach our children to behave better.
Okay. Well, in all of this now, what they have said that generally in the creative industry, the government has not had a very pivotal role over the years. In 2024, what do you think can be done to groom the sector? Because we also say that the film industry is Nigeria's eye for the way Nigeria sees the world, and the way the world sees Nigeria is through the film industry.
Correct.
So how much more can we put into it?
Well, what I would say to government is when America decided they wanted the world to acknowledge them as the greatest, the American military is considered the best in the world. They used Hollywood. They used Hollywood for that. Hollywood showed the world the best part of America. Nollywood has done their best, but the government has not been supportive. We're not asking them for handouts. We're asking them to create an enabling environment. If you look at the new budget, they expect so much income from Hollywood. What are they doing to guarantee that income comes out? In Lagos, for example, this is where we stay, this is where I work. It is traumatic for filmmakers. Biodu Stevens was on Instagram the other day crying. They go out to shoot and the area boys are all over them. You're spending a whole lot of money. A friend of mine, Zigzulu, sent his crew to Apapa to do just a little recording. They parted with over 100,000 naira to area boys. If you don't do it, they seize your camera, they harass your crew.
Equipments are expensive.
Exactly. A lot of times those equipments are rented. If they take it from you or they damage it, you're going to have to pay. We don't have insurance. So the federal government especially, and state governments, I think Edo State government is doing something in that. They are trying to make Edo State a film destination. And they have a lot of incentives for filmmakers to come to Edo State to shoot. Other states need to take a cue from that. And the federal government needs to. They need to give us tax breaks. They need to encourage this industry to grow. Everything we've done so far has been done by our strength and the grace of the Almighty. It is time for the government to put their money where their mouth is. They need to do something.
We spoke about women before, women in media, women in film. I want to talk about something that is always that's always talked about: women in media and people that get married. How was it for you? How was it for you, the relationship between building your career, your acting career, while you were working, because I know that you're working in the banking industry for a while, and then also trying to make sure that your marital life was okay?
Okay, I would say that when I wanted to join the industry, I had a day job, right? My father expressed serious concerns. And I said to him, Daddy, I want to do this. I can only make you one promise. I won't do anything to bring your name to disrepute. Please give me a chance. And he said, okay, my daughter. And I'm very thankful to the Almighty that till my dad passed, he was very proud of me. Okay, now how did I do it? It is the grace of the Almighty. It is also the people in my life. When I was working full-time, the bank I worked with, they were very understanding. They knew I was doing movies. It wasn't a common thing in the industry. In the banking industry, it wasn't a common thing. They knew I was doing it. And as long as I didn't let it affect my work, they let me be. Okay, so I appreciate them greatly. And my family have been very, very supportive. The man I married, Sheye Aluko, always said he was my greatest fan. Okay, he let me be me. He gave me the space to do what I needed to do. And the rest of my family also let me do what I needed to do. People covered up for me when my presence was needed and I wasn't available and stuff like that. But then to people, women who are coming into this industry, I would want to say to a woman, especially if you are bringing up kids, your children have to be a priority, because that stage when they are growing, you can't get it back. And whatever they don't learn at that point it's going to be very difficult for them to learn. So no matter what you do, you have to balance it. Make sure your home doesn't suffer. There will be jobs you will give up. There will be jobs you will not take on because it's going to conflict with what should be more important to you. I know that men and women both make a home. No one can do it alone. Sometimes you have single parent homes, not out of choice, and then they have to do the best they can. But when you have both parents in a home, they have to work together to ensure that their home survives and the children survive. You have in other countries where a woman is the one who earns more, and they are in the childbearing stage, the man can opt to work from home to take care of the kids so that there's somebody there to keep an eye on the kids. That's not very common here. They will say, don't turn them to woman rapper. You get, but hey, the Gen Z men have to learn that marriage is a partnership. You help your wife. If your wife needs to be on location and you can babysit, it's your child, for heaven's sake. So I think if everybody works together, they can balance things. But everybody should know what is a priority for them and give it that space.
Thank you.
Well, serious lessons learned here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lilian, for coming and gracing our screens. Thank you so much. You're still as beautiful as ever.
Thank you. Thank you
very much. And of course, that's it this morning on the entertainment segment of TVC Breakfast. Coming up is Sport with Marco Tabo and the crew. Stay tuned.